have been restored. Well, let's check in with meteorologist Griffin. A better day today and hopefully tomorrow compared to overnight.
Yes, the start of the week will be much more low-key in comparison. Yeah, this weekend was busy, still busy out there for folks in eastern North Carolina and southern Virginia. They've still got a tornado watch in effect there and a flash flood warning in effect for the Raleigh metropolitan area. I will say that we were spared from a lot of the really significant severe weather. A lot of the really intense stuff happened over in Alabama and Tennessee. I mean, just look at the multitude of storm reports that we have here. Those little lightning strikes, that's lightning striking houses. And that's anytime we have that relayed along by the National Weather Service. Those are obviously a bit more rare than just a typical lightning strike. But lots of tornadoes in southern Mississippi, a couple more into parts of Alabama, lots of flash flooding in Tennessee. And by comparison, we fared much better. We had that potential for some strong to severe storms. The ones that came in early this morning were honestly a little bit weaker than expected. A lot of the stronger stuff stayed down to the south of us towards Augusta. But that being said, we did have some power outages and we did have plenty of trees that were knocked down across parts of western North Carolina. A couple little light showers still hanging on out there over towards Macon County and Swain County. Up on the other side of the Smokies, you got a little bit of light rain happening in Tennessee. Temperatures are starting to fall, noticeably so, now that the front has come through. We're down into the 40s and 50s up towards western North Carolina. Still hanging on with some warmish temperatures in the low to mid 60s, at least for this time of day, towards the southern half of the upstate. It's really windy today. Wind gusts got all the way up to 59 miles per hour up in Nashville. Most places saw gusts on the order of 35 to 40 miles per hour. The winds will still be a factor for tomorrow, just not going to be quite so strong. As of right now, sustained winds at around 5 to 10 miles per hour for most of the area. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast for tomorrow. There will be plenty of sunshine. It will be noticeably a little cooler and still kind of windy at times. Temperatures will start off in the mid-40s in the upstate, get up to around the lower 50s by noon, and then we'll top out close to 60 for that high temperature for Monday afternoon. For western North Carolina, a little bit chillier, down to the mid-30s early tomorrow morning and topping out in those upper 40s. We'll talk about the forecast for the rest of the week ahead, when that next rain chance will be. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
In Marion, North Carolina.
In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, so for the next 3 days, it's going to be nice and low-key. Sunny, cool, and windy tomorrow. A little bit warmer on Tuesday. Highs up to 73, then we're up to 77 again by Wednesday. We'll talk about your 4-day plus coming up next.
$1 million.
Well, here's the system that brought all of the mess that we saw all across the southeast this weekend. This big dip in the jet stream with a lot of storms still ongoing over towards the east of it, over into eastern North Carolina, Virginia. They still have some storms that are happening at the moment, but the worst of the weather was back towards Mississippi and Alabama. That's familiar territory for me. I've worked in both of those states, and March and April, you are swamped in severe weather season. It is usually repetitive systems that produce a lot of severe weather, and we did get some storms of our own early this morning, but the good news was that they moved in just before dawn when the atmosphere is at its coolest and most stable, so the storms themselves weren't as strong. But still some storms ongoing now. Red box here, that's the tornado watch in effect for eastern North Carolina, southern Virginia. Lots of storms firing up over the Gulf Stream. Those warmer waters out over the Carolinas producing some strong storms offshore. The storm reports, just a giant mess of storm reports all across the region. Really huge tornadoes that you had in South Mississippi. Lots of straight line winds and tornadoes across Alabama. A couple of isolated reports into Georgia. By comparison, we fared much better than for folks farther towards the west and the east, for that matter. Just a few trees reported down across most of western North Carolina. We had some power outages, but luckily the storms were a little bit more manageable here closer to home. 61 degrees in Greenville right now. Temperatures are starting to cool off now that we're on the backside of the storm and the colder air is starting to settle in. It'll be a little bit chillier when you wake up early tomorrow morning. A little cloudy. Temperatures tomorrow morning down to the low to mid 40s for most of the upstate, down to the mid 30s for western North Carolina. We'll see plenty of sunshine for tomorrow. It will be still kind of windy at times, not as windy as today, but we'll see winds get up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts up to 20, and then we'll top out kind of close to 60 for that high temperature for the upstate, and then closer to 50 towards western North Carolina. Overall, the winds should calm down tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. We'll see pretty chilly temperatures early Tuesday. It's you're kind of in that tug of war mode this time of year, where sometimes the warm air wins out, the cold colder air winds out for Tuesday with temperatures a little chilly for Tuesday morning, but then we warm right back up to highs up into the low 70s, even the mid 70s in a couple spots Tuesday afternoon with high pressure in control. We're kind of entering that transition period between the high pressure and the low pressure Wednesday, with winds shifting back towards the southwest, more cloud cover. There's a small chance of rain with this next system. It looks like Thursday morning. I guess I shouldn't say small chance, a quick chance of rain. That'll be moving in Thursday morning, likely moving out of here by Thursday afternoon before another push of chillier air comes in Friday morning with high pressure back in control. Then another possible weak system moves in Saturday that could also give us some showers. So Thursday and Saturday are really the only days in the short term where we have some chance of rain. Other than that, the week's going to be pretty nice overall. Here's the first 3 days of the week. St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, sunny, cool, and breezy. It'll be warmer with more sunshine on the way for Tuesday. Partly cloudy and warm with a high of 77 Wednesday. Showers possible. That chance of rain lower overall at 40% for Thursday. Looks like it'll be relatively mild for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and with low chances of rain overall. This is a pretty good week for March, I'd say. That's for sure. 4-day plus for the mountains is pretty similar as well. Nice temperatures once we get past tomorrow. Pretty chilly tomorrow, but then we warm up to the 70s as well. Tuesday, Wednesday. Also looking at a chance for rain Thursday before we dry back out Friday.
Live, local, breaking news. This is WYFF News 4 at 11.
Welcome back. Let's check in with meteorologist Griffin Hardy as the weekend comes to a close. Better days ahead, though.
Yep, first half of the week, it's going to be nice and low-key, much more so compared to this past weekend.
Right,
It was busy, no doubt about that. I will say, though, it could have been busier here. The storms that we had early this morning came in a little bit cooler than expected. A lot of the action, frankly, was over towards Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, which we love to see. We don't want the action, especially this time of year, March and April. That's severe weather season for us, and that is oftentimes when we can get some pretty strong to severe storms, but it's nice and quiet. Cold front has come through, 61 degrees. Temperatures in the process of going down. And the system itself that brought all the severe weather this weekend, it's not done yet. It's still producing some possible severe weather in eastern North Carolina. That tornado watch in effect there. It's got some flash flood warnings up towards the northeast of Raleigh and in Raleigh proper. And meanwhile, back here at home, the front is starting to come in and temperatures are starting to cool off. Look at the myriad of storm reports that we had just all across the eastern half of the U.S. This was a massive event. You had numerous tornadoes in Mississippi, Alabama, lots of flash flooding and trees down across Tennessee. Then you zoom over to our area, and by comparison, it was a lot quieter. Yes, we did have some trees that were reported down across much of western North Carolina, as well as some power outages. But overall, the fact that it came through at around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, that actually helped us out. That meant that the atmosphere was a little more stable, and thus the storms were a bit less intense. So that's good. And it's back to being quiet outside. Satellite radar showing we are back into being dry. Just a couple little light showers into parts of western North Carolina. Temperatures in the process of cooling down. It's going to be pretty chilly when you wake up early tomorrow morning. It was really windy today. Got up to gusts around 35 to 40 miles per hour across most of the upstate. Winds right now are roughly at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. It'll be around in that ballpark for the rest of the day tomorrow. A little breezy and a little chilly. Starting off in the mid-40s tomorrow morning in the upstate, getting up to the low 50s by lunchtime. And then we'll top out around close to 60 degrees for the high temperature with pretty much all sunshine all day long. That goes for western North Carolina as well. A couple clouds in the morning, but more sunshine in the afternoon. It's going to be a little colder up in the mountains as we only top out in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees for that high temperature tomorrow. We'll talk about the forecast for the rest of the week ahead coming up in just a few minutes.
You know, without the violence.
Woo-wee, that was a doozy of a story. Tough one to follow, but here's the next 3 days. Lots of sunshine Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A little cool tomorrow, then warming up Tuesday and Wednesday. Luckily, a lot more low-key than this past weekend. I got your full forecast up next.
Answer.
Well, that looked like a lot of fun, that's for sure. I'm glad that the weather, at least for this week, is going to be a little more low-key than it has been for a lot of people. This upper-level trough that brought all the severe weather, this is a pretty strong one. And it's still, if you can believe it, producing some strong severe storms over in eastern North Carolina. Red box there, that's a tornado watch in effect for eastern North Carolina, southern Virginia. Storms still firing up offshore of the Carolinas, where the Gulf Stream, those warm ocean temperatures really firing up some storms over that way. Have a look at this just the utter mess of storm reports that we had with this particular outbreak. A lot of really large tornadoes in South Mississippi. It's not that unusual for tornadoes this time of year, but how strong they actually were, that is atypical. And those tornadoes continued in a couple spots into western Alabama. Strong straight line winds too, over into the western part of Georgia. Had some strong straight line winds there. Luckily for us, though, these came in at just the right time for when the atmosphere was at its most stable, just before sunrise. That's when you have cooler temperatures and thus less fuel for the storms to work with. That being said, though, we did have a few damage reports across mostly western North Carolina with trees and power lines that were knocked down. But it will be a while before we see any system like that, at least for this week. In the foreseeable future, it's going to be a lot quieter and a little chillier starting tomorrow morning. Temperatures should get down to around the 40s in the upstate tomorrow morning. Mid-40s, I should say, and mid-30s up towards western North Carolina as winds have now shifted towards the northwest. It's going to stay a little breezy for the rest of the day tomorrow. There will be plenty of sunshine, but it will feel certainly chillier with temperatures in the lower 50s by around lunchtime. And then we'll top out close to 60 for that high temperature. But with the winds and with the temperatures being cooler, it'll definitely feel cooler outside, no doubt about that. Into tomorrow night, keeping with a mostly clear sky, temperatures upper 40s by around 10 o'clock tomorrow. All of us should get down to the 30s again by Tuesday. So we're not completely out of the woods yet, not full spring mode, or, you know, we're getting there, but it is still going to be a little bit chilly in the morning, that's for sure, especially for the next few days. And then high temperatures do look to bounce back up to the 70s by the time we get to Tuesday. Tuesday looks gorgeous. Wednesday looks pretty nice too, just a little bit cloudier, as by then we'll be between that high down towards the south and this low that'll be coming in Wednesday evening. That will increase cloud cover as winds shift to the southwest. We'll have a quick rain chance, what looks like Thursday morning. Not a huge chance with this next front that's coming in, but a chance nonetheless, and that will be the day of the week that we actually get a little bit of rain, a little bit chillier and drier again by the time we get to Friday. Possibly another quick system that moves in next Saturday, but nothing even close to what we saw this past weekend in terms of how strong strong severe storms were. But again, luckily they were a little cool for us. At least they came in cooler than anticipated, the storms, that is, for us here in the upstate. So here's what I've got for the 4 days. Sunny, cool, and breezy for tomorrow for St. Patrick's Day. Warmer with more sunshine for Tuesday. Then we turn partly cloudy, but also stay warm for Wednesday with a high of 77 there. Showers possible on Thursday, but it looks like it'll be mainly dry after that. Just tiny chances for more rain Saturday and Sunday. Obviously, we'd adjust as we get closer with a 20% chance there for next weekend, but a lot more low key for this week for sure. Same for the 40 plus for the mountains. A little dash of rain on Thursday, but nice and pleasant for most of the week.
Well, this weekend is over. Yay!
Yes. Yay. You ever thought you'd say that, right? Especially after how wild it was. I will say, though, we kind of fared much better than we could have. You know, we had that risk of storms that was really serious for Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Could have been worse, but the rest of the week looks nice and low-key.
That's awesome. And you guys, a bittersweet moment here at WYFF News 4. This is Griffin's last weekend.
This is it. Yep, this is it, everybody. I will be heading down to, I can formally announce this now, I'm heading down to Atlanta. I am going to the Weather Channel. I will be a hub meteorologist for a couple of different local news stations that are owned by the same parent company that owns the Weather Channel. So don't know which ones yet, but I am super excited about it, from there originally. So
we're gonna miss you, but Atlanta's not too far away. Make sure you join us bright and early in the morning.